If you're a company, you're a school, you're a community center or a venue, and you want to have companies request events to be held, this is the video for you. We're going to talk about building a form where people can come and request to have an event, add some event details, and then be put into a pending status where you can then approve and send an alert to the person that requested. Let's jump right in. So let's talk about what it's going to look like at the end. I'm going to be Lucy Davis, and I'm going to have Lucy at hapily.com, right? We're happy. I'm going to request an event. It's going to be called Happily Demo. I want it to be on Christmas Day this year. Start at 8 a.m. I want it to end at 3 p.m. It's going to be a cool demo on Christmas, and I submit. Now, what happens after that? Let's see the results of this in the CRM. So I'm looking at the Happily Events listing page. You can see my Happily Demo event has been set. We also see Lucy, who's associated and labeled as the requester, and her company's there as well. You can add the domain, enrich the company, do what you need to do. But now we actually have an event in a pending status. If we look at one of the things that we've added, which is going to be the approval status, it's set as requested. So then you can go in, change the time, communicate with the requester, and get this approved inside of your CRM. So how do we build all of this? Let's start with the properties. On the Happily Event object, we've created a few custom properties that will help us build out this request. Now I can just quickly search request and see a few of the things that I've made. I've made the requester email, end time, first name, last name, start date. All of these are going to live on the event so that you can then create the contact and associate it to the event when they submit that form. To make this easy, I've made a request property group that has all of these properties in it. One of the other things to note is when you are looking at properties you want to have on this event-based form that we'll create, you want to make sure things are available to be seen in a form. For example, if we look at the event name, you want to make sure that all the field rules are, say, show property in forms and bots. So if you're adding any other properties, just make sure this is checked so that you can select them in the form. Let's take a look at that form. I've created a multi-step HubSpot form that leverages event properties. You can see that my first step is about the person who's requesting it. So we are leveraging those request properties. So you can see the requester first name, the requester last name, the requester email. These are all connected properties that are on the event itself. So when they submit this form, it's going to create a event record for this particular object. You can see your company is the requester company, and so on and so forth for the specific tell me about yourself section. Jumping to step 2, we have the event name, which is specifically the event name property, and we have our requested start date, start time, and end time available for the person to fill out. We also have this hidden property, which is the approval status. We want to set this by default to requested, because we're going to trigger a lot of workflows based upon an event being created with this property as the requested value. Feel free to add any other things to your form so that people can give you more details, such as maybe the topic or the audience type or any special needs for that event. You can add those as event properties and put them in this flow. They're all going to jump directly into the new object you've created. Let's take a look at some of the workflows that are going to power the confirmations and the object creations for this form. This workflow is going to be triggered when the event is created, and only events created with the status of requested. We've got our trigger for it to request, and we've added a criteria for that the approval status property is requested. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to send an internal notification to Max, because Max needs to know when an event was requested. Secondly, we're going to create a record that's going to use the requester email, the requester first name, and the requester last name for the contact. We also added the requester company name so we can update that company name property on the contact as well. Next, we're going to create the company itself by using the company name that the person filled out in the form. Afterwards, we're going to associate the contact to the event by using the matching email, because now we have the contact that's been created. We have the event requester email on the event object. You can use that to associate those together. And we're going to use a label that we created called requester. Sounds like a transformer. Also, we're going to do a similar thing and associate the company to the event by means of the company name. There are matching properties. We can use those to do the association. Now that we have those contacts and companies created and associated, we'll also give it a little delay for a minute to make sure the associations come together. Then we're going to send an email. Now, when you're leveraging an email inside of a non-contact based workflow, you're able to target specific contacts based upon their label. So we look at this association label, we hit requester, and then we have an event request confirmation. Now, when the requester fills out the form, we want to send them an email that has the details of their event. Again, I'm just leveraging standard emails, but using event-based tokens so that I could put in their requested start date, requested start time, or anything else that they filled out for that form. That's going to be in the email that gets sent to the contact associated to the event with the requester label. It's all fine and dandy once the event has been accepted to be reviewed. But what happens when you want to approve that? So we've created another workflow that alerts the event requester when their event is approved. It is triggered by the approval status being set to approved, and it's going to trigger off another email using event-based tokens for the approval, and it's going to send to the contact associated with the label requester. I may have submitted a time or a date that doesn't work, but your team has set the correct dates, times, and all that. You want to leverage the event properties, not of the requested date and the requested time, but the actual true date and time. All of the things that you've added to this event can be super helpful for the team to know that their event is on and they can start bringing and preparing to come on site. Now, this is used in a ton of different ways from our clients. We've seen that anybody from people want to do lunch and learns and coming into an event. We've seen people that want to actually go do on-site trainings, or even just schools or school districts that have companies that want to present to the school. This event form is just another way that you can event happily.